Coming to a YouTube channel near you.
Well, we got all witchy in the house with Amy. Kathy A, we got John, Lorna, John, Roger, nice to see you there. What's up, Lorna? And Lori, nice to see you there, Lori. Hey, Lori, I got a surprise coming your way, so stay tuned. And welcome, everybody, on this Monday evening. And Peter, Julian, how are y'all doing today?
Wonderful.
Ready? Let's do it.
Yes, I'm ready to rock and roll. I had a fantastic weekend. What about you guys?
It was lovely here in New York City, and fall is coming. It's getting cooler, but it was fabulous. Watching the U.S. Open and getting into sports and all that for it.
You know, I love fall. I love the fall colors and because I love to take a lot of pictures, you know, and I just cannot get enough of it. So, but yeah, I just love taking pictures. So, Peter, what about you?
I'm actually experiencing my first change from summer to fall in Maine. Wow. And I'm noticing the trees are changing color. I've been going out every day and just embracing the trees. And I've been noticing little squirrels and chipmunks and birds. And I just sit on the lawn and just watch all of this wonderful nature around me.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. Lorna, congratulations. You are a blue wrench. With Lori is a blue wrench too. So, you know, every time somebody says a chipmunk, right? Look at Lori. See, welcome, Lori, to the wrench club. So my dad hates chipmunks, and he's got chipmunks in his backyard, and they come up onto his porch. And he's been trying to kill these little rascals for all year.
Why?
And,
why?
Hey, just listen. So he has bought food and everything to kill these little suckers, right? Because they tear up his porch and they burrow underneath the concrete, and they'll make your concrete brittle, you know, where they're burrowing. So he got his BB rifle out.
Oh, jeez.
So I altered his sights on that BB rifle. So when he runs to the back door to take a pop shot at him, he can never hit him.
Wow.
And he can't figure it out. Wow.
I hope he doesn't listen to the broadcast.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. But it's funnier than hell, though, isn't it? I got to film him doing it. It is funny.
It's time to get an animal whisperer that can speak to the chipmunks.
Oh, man, I tried. I was like, hey, no, don't hang around here. So, you know, my mom feeds the deer and the raccoons, and something's taking the apples. And I don't know what's taking those, but we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, it's funny.
Wait a second. Your mom feeds the what?
Animals. I mean, she's got raccoons and all. I had to put cameras up to see what was taking them.
Well, there you go. If your mom is feeding the raccoons and all the animals, the chipmunks aren't an exception. They're going to also feed on whatever it is that they feed on.
Yes, that totally.
So it's all about animals being one. It's the oneness of the animals.
I can see here, but that's good. He can't hit Jack. He gets so mad. He's like, he's like.
Oh God, that's funny.
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah. Roger, he got live traps. He got all kinds of stuff. He got it. I don't know. It's like they know what he's putting out there is poison. They won't eat it. Those little hotels, they won't go into it.
Of course.
So he got his BB rifle out, and I'm like, oh hell no, you ain't killing with that. So I changed the sights.
The other animals are probably also telling them.
Where is all of this? So. Where is all of this sublimated anger, hostility coming from?
Well, they have mows in the yard, and they do tear up the hell of the yard. So they got mow traps, and those mow traps are no joke. They will kill them instantly. You know, with the spikes, it's like a guillotine.
Ouch.
But chipmunks are bad because they will tear up your foundation and also your patios and stuff because they burrow underneath them. But he's been trying to kill these suckers all year, and I just don't have the heart to tell him.
But again, and I'm going to look into this, and I'll let you know next week. There must be a solution. There must be a way of dealing with the chipmunks.
Yeah. So I told him put mothballs out. That's a good way to keep the critters away, mothballs, and they actually did that.
All right, there you go. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, mothballs does work. So just keep that in mind.
And maybe someone out there in the audience has had that experience with chipmunks, and they can also.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always open.
As we have a chipmunk alert on this day.
So Amy just brought up something, and a lot of people's reaching out to me about the active shooter in Lexington, Kentucky. There was a guy on the side of the road that opened fire on up-teen vehicles on Interstate 75. I do not live in Lexington anymore. I moved out about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
However, if you ever see somebody shooting a handgun or a rifle into traffic, run over them. Run over them. Don't just drive by. Run over them. Hit them. I mean, just like you hit an orange barrel, just hit them and knock them down. It was amazing to see all these vehicles just keep driving by. The guy is still on the loose. They know who he is. So if you see the guy, make sure and call 911 or the FBI. Thanks for bringing that up, Amy. So, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary. Welcome to the show.
It's unfortunate that these people are walking around, but some of them also are on all kinds of different medications and all kinds of psychological stuff.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Psychotropic medication.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. That the psychologists, psychiatrists, they're getting fed this stuff, and it creates a whole play, a whole different world. It's like
it alters the brain chemistry. I was actually speaking to a therapist who said they are very dangerous drugs to just freely prescribe, and people that are on them that are having adverse reactions and becoming paranoid. A lot of these drugs are associated with the mass shootings that they're finding out at schools and malls and all over the world.
Yes, it's very true. And also the fact that for the person who's taking them, it's like watching a video game. So they don't see life the way life is to be embraced. To them, life is like a video game, and they're playing like a. And it's unfortunate, and hopefully something is done and a solution is found as soon as possible, because it's creating lots of havoc and problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So our hearts and prayers go out to the ones that actually were hit in that fire in Lexington. But ladies and gentlemen, be reactive and proactive. So absolutely.
Yes.
So what's our topic tonight, gentlemen?
Well, I believe that we're talking about it. Maybe it's called. I remember there was a commercial, and it was Mrs. Reagan that started the commercial. Say no, N-O, to drugs, and I always said, you know what? Say K-N-O-W to drugs. Know your drugs.
Know your drugs.
Yeah, let's say DOC.
Everything from pot to
we have to say DOC, gentlemen.
To
DOC, yeah. That covers all the things. That's the DRUGS of choice.
No,
DOC.
Including your allopathic, your homeopathic, your naturopathic, your herbal. Know everything that goes into your temple. It's very important to understand and know what it is, as well as its pros, its cons, its efficacy, and also for yourself, because each individual is sensitive in a different way when it comes to drugs.
Yes.
So
yes, yeah, go ahead, Julian.
no, I'm just saying it's so important, especially now, because after COVID, there's such an increase of commercials about all these different drugs and what they do and what they can't.
Julian, can you hear me?
And more.
Julian, we have to say DOC. We
DOC.
can't say the Yep, DOC.
DOC.
Right.
So the
All
DOC.
right.
There we go. Yeah, we'll get flagged and everything. Here we go. DOC. That's what we say on all the other shows. And it is. And not only the DOC, but we have to realize, 30 years ago, it's different than it is today because we have other people putting stuff in it and killing people.
That's true too. And be and be smart. And if you're a woman, because I've had a number of friends and clients that have been roofied, and you like to party and you like to go, into different clubs and bars and wherever you are, it's getting easier and easier to do that to somebody.
Yes.
So what's important is, again, be smart, be aware. If you call out for a drink, watch it being made and who's around it and all of that. Be smart, be aware, because there's some nefariousm taking place.
Yes. It's ironic. Well, funny in a way, but I up in Maine, I am in the woods. I feel like I'm living similar to Ralph Waldo Emerson. And when I go into stores now and I start talking to the people at the checkout, I'm hearing all of these horror stories, from the shootings to people on hallucinogenics, DOCs, all of these. And what I'm finding out is more and more people that I know that are becoming educated are seeking the means of homeopathic remedies that have less carcinogen effect. And we live in a DOC society now where I think it's healthier when I reach for valerian root or L-tryptophan or chamomile tea or green tea. I mean, I really believe that these things are so much better intrinsically for my body. And I hope and pray one day that we do get away from the DOC, because I'm even speaking with people in that realm of our life, and a lot of these DOCs are people are accidentally taking too much.
Yep.
And they're altering their body chemistry as well as their brain chemistry. So yeah, maybe sometime we should have a holistic practitioner on the show to talk about this area, because it seems that we are going more into a epidemic, if not a pandemic, area of society, and more people, I'm finding out, are losing their lives.
And agree 100%. If you do the numerology of DOC, D is a 4, O is a 6, C is a 3. The soul destiny of DOC is a 13-4, which is known as not only 4 is all about building and organization and discipline and the
Yes.
change, but also it's death. So it's the death of your physical, mental, emotional, and intuitive world to change. But what's interesting is that DOC coming out to a 13-4 can also represent, as it does in tarot, the card
Yes.
of death. So,
and what does it come out to, Julian, number wise?
a 13-4.
A 13-4.
And the 4 is, you can see it as a building block and something that helps, because the DOC can help in certain ways if it's done properly. Or you're feeling trapped, or
Yes.
you're dead in a box. So that 13-4 vibration has different kinds of interpretation of its energies.
That's fascinating. That is fascinating. You know, I am witnessing, even in Maine, uh, people that are on DOCs as well as alcohol. And I can very happily state, I'm not embarrassed about it. I decided to give up drinking 5 years ago. This August was 5 years.
God bless.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's
Thank
great.
you. And I'm watching people around me taking the DLCs and drinking, and I look at them and I say, is that the way I presented myself to my friends in society? And I am so thrilled that I don't rely on artificial means for escape, because there is so much beauty, there's so much incredible magnificence every day that we get up and we are alive, that I don't want to miss a moment of God's incredible serendipitous world.
Well, what's interesting, I always found, Peter, that even today, the liquor stores, it's liquor and spirits. So, what do you think that means, audience? when, when, when you go into a liquor store and it says liquor and spirits, alcohol has alcohol, which is spirit. So
Yes.
what you're actually doing is you're imbibing spirit. So
Yes.
you're putting spirit into yourself. Now, it all depends how powerful you are in dealing with this spirit and how you commune with the spirit. But what's interesting about all this is the fact that it's also very easy to become seduced by the alcohol, by the spirit, because
Absolutely.
once you do one drink, you might do another, and then after that you might do some more. And I had the most craziest experience in Sao Paulo in the 90s. You guys want to hear it?
Absolutely.
It was a party for Globo, and Globo is the top is the top entertainment and broadcasting TV station in all of Brazil. And there was a private party, and it was for a new soap opera that was taking place. So the top actors, actresses were there. It was an open bar. I was outside, and there was a brick wall, possibly about 15 feet high, where I was sitting. And this was in the early 90s, so I didn't speak Portuguese as of yet. So the Brazilians, they love to talk. They went out, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just looking at the bar, and I'm looking at the people, and everyone is really nicely dressed and very extravagant, and it's a very high-end party. And all of a sudden, I look up to the wall, and for some reason, I'm privy to two spirits sitting on the wall. And all of a sudden, my hearing becomes so sharp that it's on a telepathic level, because I'm hearing them speak to each other telepathically, and they're arguing who found that person first, because it was a famous Brazilian movie star on the level of Brad Pitt who was getting bombed. And the reason they were arguing is because they wanted to jump into the person. They wanted to this actor who was a young actor in his early 20s. And as I'm hearing this and experiencing this, all of a sudden I knew that what I was all about and the grace of God was putting me there is I started praying and blasting light towards those spirits sitting up on the wall and the person who was getting bombed. And for a minute, I was just praying and sending light. They looked at me and they saw what I was doing, and I was not drinking. I had maybe a drink, but I wasn't being seduced by them, even though medically they tried and they didn't succeed, because I knew what they were up to. And the next thing is they just dissolved.
They dissolved?
They dissolved on the wall. They were sitting on the wall, and their legs were dangling, and they just all of a sudden just disappeared, and they were gone.
That's amazing. I was taught years ago, I don't know if either one of you know differently, but I was told when people become inebriated, it opens up the energy field for incubus and succubus to come in. And I actually, years ago, I'll share a quick story with you. I don't know if either one of you know his name. He used to be famous, Dr. Hans Holzer. He was a very famous parapsychologist.
Yeah, he dealt a lot with ghosts.
Yes, and he invited me to an exorcist in New York, and I actually witnessed the spirits flying through the air, attaching themselves onto living beings, and I actually witnessed a priest from the Catholic Church that was doing the exorcism with the approval of the Vatican. It was something that it put Stephen King's horror shows on another level. In other words, I didn't find his show so scary. I was in the room for about 45 minutes, and literally I had to walk out because I was very frightened that these nefarious spirits would try to occupy my body.
Well, and Peter, great story, great topic, because what is important to know, especially again out there to the audience, if you're drinking, taking DOC, whatever you're doing with your temple, because your body is a sacred temple,
Yes.
Important to know is that when you're doing the DOC, when you're drinking, you have a field around you. It's an electromagnetic energy field. It's your auric field.
Correct.
So this field is like the field that is around Mother Earth. And when you're doing DOC and when you're drinking, what's happening is that you're creating holes in the field, like the ozone layer of Earth. So you yourself are now creating and making holes in your field. Once you have holes in your field, then other energies and spirits can come in and start occupying your field and
Yes.
start to weaken you and compromising you, and then putting doubt in your head, as well as creating problems for your physical body. Peter, you've seen it. I've seen it. And Chris, I'm sure you've also experienced it. But it's something that people, especially now in 2024, at this time of this epic change, it's like an ascension that's taking place physically, mentally, emotionally, intuitively, in every which way, even in our prosperity, in our money world. All of this is happening. It's so important to be in your wholeness, your holiness, in every which way. I don't care if you're Catholic, if you're Jew, if you're Muslim, if you're Zoroastrian, where you're Hindu, whatever. Do whatever you can to keep yourself aligned and clean and keep your field strong. So
Yes.
strong, nothing can come in there. Nothing.
Well, as in biblical reference, right? We say that the devil or evil entities will find a weak spot in your armor to attack you. And once they find that weak spot, they will keep nailing at you and niching at you until they can penetrate your armor. Just like you said, Julian, after that, they will occupy. They will get into your mind and make you do things and think things you shouldn't. And people really don't realize that, right?
Well, I want to share something else, if I might.
Please,
I'm not mentioning any names to protect the innocent, but I witnessed up here about 2 weeks ago. Somebody came over and they proceeded to drink and drink and drink and drink. And I was thinking, how much alcohol do you need to feel comfortable? And with the progression of the drinking, they became very belligerent, very confrontational, and very nasty and mean. And I decided to tape it. And I taped the segment, and I waited 3 days later when I was in the same person's space. They came over again, and I played it back, and the person said to me, "What a fool. Who is that fool? Are you friends with the person?" And I said, "You don't recognize the person?" That's it. I don't know who that person is. And when they got up closer, they realized it was them.
Well, it's interesting that we're sharing this on this day, which is 9/9 with an 8, and that's a 26/8 energy. The word God, God, comes out to 26/8 in Kabbalah, and 8 is God in numerology. And we have the double 9 and the double 8. We're being asked to share as well as to empower.
Yes.
This is a time to empower. This day is a day of empowerment and being strong. and connecting with the highest of the high. Again, whatever belief system you have. And if you don't believe in anything, then believe in Mother Earth and what you're standing on and what you're
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have another quick story to tell.
walking.
I'm full of them tonight. But anyway, I recently read for somebody who, it was somebody from Canada, and they were telling me during the reading how cruel and vicious people are to them when they go out. And I was sitting listening, and as I was listening, I asked them what they did to motivate this type of behavior from strangers and from the family. They claimed they didn't do anything. Then, as time progressed, I noticed anger and hostility towards me. And I finally said to the individual, I think I got the nail on the head. And they said, you mean you discovered, you ascertained why people are so nasty to me? And I said, I believe so. Have you looked in the mirror lately? Have you really witnessed your behavior? And it floored me that this person sees themselves as being very demonstrative, very loving, very nurturing, when I witnessed the antithesis of what they were telling me about themselves.
Sure.
And because I am been in this world for many, many years, I very lovingly said to them, I think you need to work with somebody that will assist you on changing your thinking and changing your attitudes, because a lot of people today, when you go out into society, people are not happy today. They're angry, they're hostile, they will find fault with everything that they can possibly do. And I've decided for myself, I go out armed. When I come into contact with somebody, I'll smile at them, I'll embrace them, I'll tell them how terrific they look. But we're living in very times right now, even with the energy. There's astrological shifts with the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even with even in numerology, there are so many shifts going on right now that we really have to be very protective about our physical self, our etheric body, our aura. We really need to spiritually connect with the higher master guides and the guardian angels to keep us in a state of equanimity and balancing. I don't know if you'll agree with that, but this is what I'm experiencing.
100%. That's why for many years in the morning, after I go to the bathroom, come back, I'm saying my prayers. I'm also embracing and sending light to different people who might be unhealthy, as well as different areas of the globe that things have happened. I'm sending light, I'm sending love, and I'm doing all of that in regards to embracing the globe as well as the universe as myself in this oneness. I do an exercise that I've been doing since the 90s every day, and I have it on YouTube, and it's called Julian Tesla meditation. Julian
I love that, and I've listened to it. I love that.
It's 11 minutes, and what it does is it creates a electromagnetic energy field within and around you of safety, of creativity, of productivity. And this Tesla field also is connecting you with your solar sun. When I don't feel well, I do another exercise, which is also on YouTube. It's called the Julian Psychic Healing Meditation, and it deals with circulating and connecting with your happy blood and getting rid of the victimness within you.
Mm-hmm.
Can be whole and be healthy and heal yourself, because as you think, so you are. When you start envisioning and working with your other dimensions of yourself, you can and will heal thyself.
Yes.
So, and before I walk out into the Mecca, which is known as New York City, and I walk out my door, on top of everything else, and I suggest for the audience to do this, to just see yourself as a light bulb and go out into the world as a light bulb. And when you come back, imagine that you can just shut the light off, just shut it off, say thank you, and that's it. Let's start, instead of being victims, or instead of creating all of these catastrophes in our lives, let's bond with the astrology, the numerology, as well as all the other divinations that are taking place, in order to strengthen ourselves as we progress and move forward.
What a wonderful suggestion, Julian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that is a great idea. Wonderful idea. Yeah, we need more positivity today. You know, the one thing that I do in every session with every person and client that I have, I start off my sessions with calming them down, and then taking positive energy that God has given to me, and hopefully they will be a receptor for it, because at the end of the session, people say, I don't feel like I had a reading, I feel like I had a healing. And I said, well, you're supposed to have a reading, a healing, and walk away with the sense that you're empowered, that you can change your life for the better, and that you're here for a much higher purpose. And what you just said, Julian, absolutely correct. I've been listening to meditations, I've been listening to the Tesla. We not only have to espouse it, we've got to live it.
That's the whole thing, and that's a very important point, Peter, is the fact that it's time for us to also, as we move into mid-September, and we're going to go into October, November, December of 2024, let's stop procrastinating and let's just do it. It's very easy before you walk out the door to imagine yourself as a light bulb, and you're a light. And what you're doing is you're blasting and blazing light as you're walking out, and whomever, whatever you're meeting and wherever you're going, you're working with light intelligence. Light is all over the sacred books. Every sacred book talks about light and light intelligence. So it's very easy to connect with light intelligence. Just take a deep breath, see it, feel it, be it. That's it.
Now, I have one question. Are we talking about 20 watts, 30 watts, 40 or 50?
We're talking about infinite watts. We're talking about divine watts.
Okay.
Let's connect with the divine light bulb, the divine watts.
Yes.
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 No particular, hertz or whatever. Let's just say the divine watts, and the divine all the time.
Yes.
Well, what's really important Go ahead.
Go ahead,
I'm
Chris.
sorry, Peter. Go ahead. That words
No,
are
go
energy,
ahead.
right? Words are energy, and people don't understand what we speak can affect people. The
Yes.
idea of words or energy is based on, I think, the belief is that is reality is fundamentally everything we say has a vibration, right? So when we're positive, we put out positive words and phrases, and that affects people positivity. And this is where I was saying, Julian said in the beginning, be kind, be nice.
That's
And
right.
that goes a long way. Peter, you said that before on other shows. And also, I think our words has physical structure, and it also affects people that way. That's just my theory.
Totally. And
Yes.
Kay just wrote, and it's very true what Kay just said, that we're antennae.
Yes.
And
Yep.
antennae, we attract. We're tweeters and woofers. We're like receivers, and we're constantly giving and taking and giving and taking. We're parabolic antennas with that of the universe. And at this time right now, it's very important that we strengthen ourselves, especially our faith, our trust, and our minds as we move into this September, into these next months, because it's going to be a amusement park Disney ride. Believe me.
Yeah. So it is actually proven in science, in the medical field journals, that brain functions with positive words can strengthen the areas of the brain that promote cognitive function and motivation. That's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
100%.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's why people who pray, meditate, and they go inside themselves, they hear the inner words, they hear the inner truth, they hear the inner love. And love is that takes you out of any kind of prison that you're in.
Right.
Yes. You know, it amazes me, and I've learned this over the years. Some of the most gifted people in our field, and everybody's gifted, but
Yes.
some of the most gifted people I've met that are also shamans and teachers have said to me, part of the evolution of growth is to be able to sit in a room in a lotus position, be still, and be with yourself. Because I see so many people constantly on the phone, constantly on the internet. We need to learn how to be at one with God. We need to feel and be in touch with whom we are soul wise, instead of looking for distractions of running to the store or running to be with our friends. I'm finding more and more that I'm enjoying just being with me.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're connecting with the oneness, and that oneness is your universe with universes and universes and universes.
Yes.
And also what you're doing, again, and we're back to the field. You're strengthening your field. You're making your field whole. You're making it healthy. It's feeling happy. It is now magnetic in order for it to attract exactly what you deserve as you move forward during that day, as you walk out the door, as you're making that phone call, as you're going for an audition, as you're thinking how to work out a certain problem, all this and more. It's in your field. And when you understand, quiet yourself and realize that you are in that field and you are a solution maker, miracles happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I also know from the morning when I get up, my energy may be a little low. and then it's almost analogous to turning on a radio station. And as my energy increases, I turn the radio station to a higher vibration. And we are in similarity, metaphorically, we're like tuning into a radio station of to our liking. And then through the day, I believe our energy increases and increases. I mean, this afternoon, I was thinking at one point of I needed money for something, and I said, all right, I'm going to manifest it. And then I focused in on energy, not the money, but the energy. And I was grateful for what I was about to receive. And an hour later, somebody called and said, I had such a wonderful time with you during the reading. I'm sending you additional money. That is the money that I am going to use towards my bills. But
Beautiful.
it is all, yes, Julian, I believe it's energy, it's our frequency, it's our thoughts. Our thoughts are without incontrovertible proof. They are incontrovertible that thoughts are energy, and what we think is what we become and what we attract.
Totally, because if you understand and know that you are the antennae, that you are the parabolic antenna, that your field is and deserves to be as strong as possible, or
Yes.
that any other energy can compromise and make you feel weak, or make you feel helpless, or make you feel even suicidal. What's important is for you to realize that your temple is sacred and it's yours. And it's up to you to keep it as powerful and as loving and as kind and as sweet and as creative and productive and prosperous as possible and beyond.
Yes. Without a doubt. Very, very well said. Yeah, it's funny, I'm spending more time in contemplation, and I enjoy people like Louise Hay, Dr. Deepak Chopra, Dr. Wayne, all these people, Buddha. I love studying all of them because one common theme that I'm noticing with a lot of people in our society is the people with these high energy levels, with the positivity, with the individuals that I hear that are saying, reach for the stars, change it. These people seem to be connecting with what we have learned in, what is it called? The Secret. I mean, it's available to us, but some people choose to wallow in negativity. If they're happy in negativity, why take it away from them? I choose to wallow in positivity. And that's
So let's
choose.
bring that up, and we're going to end the show on this topic. Peter, we talked
Okay.
about we talked about anger. It has been documented in medical journals that anger being held in a human being can cause certain type of cancers. Did y'all know that?
Sure, of course.
Yes.
And the people that don't know it, I will show it on the screen. You can Google it, and there it is. You can type in, can anger cause cancer? And it says anger is a bad emotion that more often is not necessarily a detrimental repercussions of a person's overall health. It may not be the primary cause of cancer, but it can still act as a catalyst in cancer progression, especially in the early stages when a patient is recovering. So if you actually go out there and look at different types of medical journals that are out there talking about anger and aggression, there have been links to people that actually have that. So what is your all's thoughts on that as we wrap up?
Well, I just, as you, Chris, as you were talking about anger, I did the numerology on anger, and anger comes out to a 27-9. And again, energies have positivity and negativity. And the 9 is all about unconditional love and being one with that top zero, one with higher mind, one with God. On the opposite note, the 9 also is selfishness, as well as, and here we are starting the beginning of the program, not forgiving, being selfish, and being, again, depressed or wanting revenge. So anger has its components and its dimensions. And it's very important to find out, where is the anger coming from and why are you angry? And to take responsibility for that anger within you. And it takes some work, but you've done it. You can do it. And audience, it's time to connect with that 9, with that one with higher mind, one with the divine energy. Have a strategy of love.
Peter?
Well, it's going to be hard to try to outdo that, Julian, but
yeah, right?
I do want to say that I come from a basis of love. And every morning I turn on the news or TV and I say to myself, I'm going to create, through God's wisdom and God's energy, the most wonderful, brilliant day, fulfilling day that I can possibly create, not just for myself, but every single individual I come into contact with. And by the end of the day, I normally have people say to me, thank you for giving me that thought. Thank you for bestowing your love upon me. So I try to live in a Christ consciousness, a Buddha consciousness, Muhammad. I try to live in a Christ-like state of mind every day. And my love to everybody watching the show.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, that is all for the show tonight. Man, it's been a fantastic hour. It always goes by so fast with you guys, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, we got another show. Make sure and tune in for that. Peter, Julian, thank you, coast to coast, around the world.
Thank you, sir.
Godspeed, everybody. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock. If you need anything, reach out to us. Until then.